The American Dream happened to me, and I really, really liked it. Loved it for about 6 months. And then I walked in my house and went, oh man, this is not fixing this problem that I have. Jim Carrey did a really good quote a couple of years ago, and he said, I want everybody to get their dream, all their dreams come true, everybody, so that they could know that it's not the answer. You know, that message is very powerful, because I thought it would fix everything, and you know, it didn't. It doesn't solve the problem.
Why would someone who seemingly had it all say that? And how does it translate to you? You may be working hard on achieving your goals, and naturally that comes with expectations of success and certain desirable results. Then it can come as a surprise to learn that the outcome does not depend on your actions, specific choices, or even luck, but rather on something else. And once you find out what that is, you will know if you are on the right track or if you are already headed towards disappointment. Welcome to the Therapy Center, a place where we explore mental health, well-being, and the intricacies of what it means to be human. I am the therapist, and today I would like to talk to you about desires, how they are relevant to your mental health, and how to approach them in a healthy manner. So make yourself comfortable and get ready for a session in which we talk about issues such as purpose, happiness, depression, and how to actually solve your problems and achieve your goals. By the end, I will leave you with an exercise that will help you answer the question, do my goals work for me? It may seem counterintuitive to say that getting what you've always wished for will not result in a state of satisfaction, relief, or happiness. Why would that be when common experience shows that getting your hands on something you desire is a way of making yourself happier? Remember the things that brought you joy as a child: receiving candy, finally beating that one level in your favorite video game, or getting the Christmas gift you were waiting for so long. At the time, they were the targets of your mind, and achieving them would bring relief. So why would that be any different today? To better understand this, let me tell you the story of a person I used to work with in therapy. Let's call her Charlie. At the time, Charlie was a 27-year-old lawyer and a very successful one. She made the bar 2 years prior and already had a great job at a great firm with a bright future ahead of her. Yet something was not working. She came into therapy because she felt stressed, unhappy, and had a lot of arguments with her partner. Her main goal was to understand why she felt the way she did, since her life should have been perfect. She already had everything she worked for, and her boyfriend was amazing. So she didn't understand what was going on. You see, Charlie was making a very good point. Her goals didn't work because she didn't understand her problems, and that understanding is a matter of definition. On the one hand, the dictionary definition of dreams or goals is an object of aspiration and ambition, not a source of joy per se. It is the meaning attributed to that aspiration that dictates the emotional undertone it will have. On the other hand, a problem is defined as a matter or situation that is regarded as harmful and needing to be dealt with or overcome. Keyword here being regarded. Again, it is the interpretation of the issue that gives it its negative or positive meaning, and thus turning it into a problem or not. It is not necessarily the lack of something that causes distress. Therefore, an emotional void cannot automatically be filled by achieving or getting a certain thing. Meaning problems are oftentimes the result of your own internal mechanisms of interpretation, since psychologically a problem is the act of balancing an obstacle and its resolution. The difficulty of that obstacle is only a perceived one in accordance with your own skill set, and solving it means generating sufficient internal effort to overcome it. All of that means that goals, problems, and solutions are not given sets of pre-existing entities with intrinsic values of difficulty and satisfaction, but rather you're the one who makes them what they are given your own abilities or inabilities. So yes, you may make the right decision, you may put in the good work, get lucky and hit big, you may even enjoy it for a while, only to realize that there is not much meaning behind it, since it does not truly satisfy you. At a closer look, your deeper issues are the same, you feel the same, and fear the same. Your worries have not changed much, your interactions have not significantly improved, and no matter how hard you try, you simply cannot extract enough satisfaction out of your achievements to keep yourself content. And one word to summarize all that is depression. Something similar happened to Charlie. She had no issues with generating the necessary resources for things like school, jobs, and other performance-related goals. She was just tackling the wrong thing. Her true fear, the one she didn't know how to handle, was not being good enough. By achieving results that were externally validated by parents, friends, or society, but not internally fulfilling, she was left reliant on that validation and created a constant second guessing. So her problem being poorly defined didn't allow her to select the right goals for herself. Ultimately, she wasn't able to feel satisfaction even though she excelled, which resulted in a subtle but not so gentle depression. You see, one of the many phases of depression is the inability to access satisfaction, and the reasons behind it are as complex as the human mind can be, varying from a feeling of inadequacy to excessive guilt or lack of hope, and manifesting itself in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Depression can run so deep and its pain can be so unbearable that many times it instills a sense of desperation in someone, an almost unquestioned search for relief. And the way many people believe they can find that is usually not helpful, since depression also has a way of sabotaging the decision-making system and making you think and choose things that are in fact detrimental. This can manifest through workaholism, addiction, or a never-ending search for an esoteric goal that is always as far as the horizon line and can never be achieved. In the end, while it may sometimes help because the issues behind the perceived problem are so deep and complex, pleasure alone is not enough to alleviate the pain. So you can only imagine what the person experiences when, after a long hard road, They achieve their end goals only to come to that realization that what is left is empty space, a void still asking to be filled. Fortunately, we now know enough to circumvent that vicious cycle and not fall into the same traps. Charlie was never the most competitive. She was driven and proud of her work, but never saw value in repeatedly exerting the joy out of herself for diminishing rewards. She just didn't want to let people down, especially her parents, who worked very hard for her to have a stable home. Hoping to make them proud of her, she always set to achieve the next goal, thinking that there will eventually be a point where it's enough and she could feel free, relieved of pressure, and just enjoy life. But there was always one next step. This realization left her exhausted, without a compass, and unsure of her choices or future. Although she very much loved her partner, she feared marriage because she didn't want it to be the one thing that defined her. If it happened, she wanted it to be out of love, not a fix for her discontent. That possibility scared her very much. She just didn't understand what anything was for anymore. As I've alluded to, and we all know from experience, people don't always make the right choices. This is also very true for selecting your end goals. One explanation for it is that usually the things that we wish for are not the desire itself, but only a means to an end. People want money to be able to afford things, have health security, or a different social status. Some people want to be great at sports, music, or acting, not for the love of the art, but for the need of approval and adoration. While others work hard at the gym and want to look good, not to be healthy or to overcome a challenge, but to be liked or have an easier access to the dating life. All of these intricacies can make it difficult to know what is best to focus on, especially when your mind is constantly bombarded with messages from family and society about what is right, all at the same time as the voices within may say, "I'm not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, why would they like you?" and many others. Another phase of depression is the lack of purpose, meaning, or hope, which, as you may guess, makes it easier to be derailed from your own goals and be infused with random ones. This mismatch between your own personal desires and the direction in which you focus your effort is what creates an insidious trap. It generates the illusion of purpose, but at the expense of true meaning, since the deeper necessities are ignored, while other, not so meaningful aspects get the spotlight. It creates a disconnect between the person and their values, and therefore their actions and results are like empty calories, lacking in the emotional, developmental, or functional nutrients someone needs. And when expecting a satiating result, this only leads to more confusion, deepening the burden of pressure on achieving even more results. The issue of authenticity of desires, or of their inauthenticity, is sometimes simply created by the presence of disorders. Sometimes emotional or psychological sensibilities, dysfunctions, or lack of development foster the existence of unconscious patterns of self-sabotage. If seen as metaphorical entities of their own volition, then of course that your depression, anxiety, Deep-rooted shame or OCD would like you to have certain goals and behaviors that keep them alive. You may think you want to be popular when in fact it is your social phobia that wants you to, because it makes you think that's what socially comfortable looks like. You may think you want revenge when in fact it is your PTSD that is acting up because you need to feel powerful and in control again, and so on. In such cases, true relief and satisfaction comes from confronting those inner demons and committing on a journey of self-actualization, or simply put, accepting and letting go. If not healed properly, such wounds will always push a person to overcompensate. Similarly, Charlie found herself at a choice point. She would either confront her inadequacies or double down on a new 5-year performance plan. But she was never one to avoid the hard choices. By facing her fears and depression and analyzing her situation, she realized that what she valued most and always wanted to achieve was appreciation and quality time with her loved ones. Somehow, she ended up the wrong path, thinking that they would only love her if she performed, that she wasn't good enough otherwise. She felt like she had lost her voice because of that, and along the way her passion for art and writing, her desire to explore more and to be outgoing, or even indulge in a thrill from time to time. But with this new realization, she was more committed to herself and to doing what made more sense for her and less for others. Confusion, depression, emotional and mental turmoil, wasted time and energy, and many more. The consequences of ignoring your issues and focusing on goals as a means of escapism to the detriment of healing can vary from nuisance to dire to even life-threatening. There are many examples around us, from Matthew Perry to Amy Winehouse or Justin Bieber, people adored and envied by so many, but who have struggled with personal issues in spite of their success. These are only a few examples of people who sought to solve their inner issues with the perks of fame and wealth, such as substance abuse, and only ended up showing that you can never outrun trauma. You can only face it. I would also challenge you to take a minute and think about your own life experience. If you think hard enough, you may realize there are also examples in those around you. People that, despite their drive and motivation to achieve what they aspire, never seem content, never settle, never slow down to enjoy it, or never have enough. You may even find those examples in yourself. Fortunately, we can learn from the mistakes of others, not only from our own, and develop possible solutions. The solution I've alluded to was already mentioned earlier. Problems are only the perception of how difficult it is to balance the obstacles we face with the resources that we possess, and only through overcoming those obstacles do we get the relief and satisfaction needed, not by burying them in results. There is no secret alternative to and no better solution than real personal development and the work done with one's own mind and soul. If the real problems and obstacles people face are misunderstanding values, a lack of purpose, difficulty making choices, inadequate goal selection, and mental and emotional issues, among many others, then the solution is making these your goal and priority. Facing inadequacies, difficulties, emotional scars, dysfunctions, lack of abilities is the guarantee of achieving a state of content, since the external problems we relate to are weighed by those inner mechanisms. It is essential to develop the ability to reflect and meditate on your inner life, come to understand it, cherish it, heal it, and not simply drive towards random goals meant to overcompensate inadequacies. In order to develop that ability, you can begin with the following two-step exercise meant to help you. Step 1. Take out a piece of paper and divide it into two columns. In the left column, list your biggest goals and dreams. In the right column, write what you believe achieving these dreams will bring you emotionally. Once you've done that, take a step back and look at the right column. These are your real needs. Your goals are merely the vehicles you believe will get you there. Focus on addressing those emotional needs, whether through therapy, self-reflection, or supportive relationships. Step 2. Place that piece of paper somewhere that it's always in view, be it on your fridge or mirror, and keep working on those answers until you know what you have to do, or until you know who can help you do it. If you feel like you want to dig deeper, you can take a bonus third step and answer a few questions. Are the obstacles to my goals mental or physical? What can I do about them, and where can I get help? What are my values? Are they an authentic reflection of my true self, or do they reflect external influences? What are my goals? Are they a manifestation of my values, or do they miss the mark? And if you feel comfortable enough, I would very much like to know what resonated with you the most. What information helped, or what answers have you got for those questions earlier? Write them down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer each of them. To go full circle and answer the initial question, the solution is to have your values and actions aligned with your external activity while accepting and facing your internal activity. This will allow you to achieve the real necessities that feed your mind and soul and help you once again find true satisfaction and content. And if you're wondering about Charlie, well, trust that she's okay. She always had the necessary resources to overcome her own obstacles. She just needed to learn where it was best to invest her efforts. Thank you for coming in today, and I hope that your time with the therapy center was meaningful and fulfilling. If you like this video, please let me know. Leave a like and subscribe because there are others coming soon. That being said, let's talk again soon in your next therapy session. Take care.